New at 5 o'clock, it's been 365 days since COVID-19 first took the life of an Illinois resident. Well, today, Governor Pritzker is reflecting on the challenges and criticism of the last 12 months.
That's right. And WGN political reporter Taman Bradley sat down with the governor to talk about that loss and the road that still lies ahead.
Indeed, Ray and Lourdes. 1 year ago, a 61-year-old retired nurse became the first Illinois resident to die of COVID-19. Even before she was lost, Governor Pritzker says he knew COVID would change everything.
1 year ago, the world turned upside down. Death and pain spread everywhere. Everyone has a story.
Two friends of mine have died of the virus. One that was a schoolmate of mine, a high school classmate. And then a good friend of mine who was not only just a great human being, but a restaurant owner that people know in Evanston named Hecky Powell. I think every day about the people who are getting sick, about the people who are going into the hospital, the ICU.
Last March, as chaos and confusion spread, Governor J.B. Pritzker was already planning for the worst.
With all the decisions that I had to make day by day, which included shutting down major gatherings, remember St. Patrick's Day last year, you know, thinking about schools, thinking about bars and restaurants, thinking about spreading locations. And then, very importantly, a day came when I received the first projections of how many deaths there might be in the state of Illinois if we didn't do something more significant.
And that would be a series of emergency actions, stay-at-home orders, and efforts to beef up medical facilities. Some measures worked, some didn't. Over the next 12 months, almost 21,000 deaths due to the coronavirus and 1.2 million cases in Illinois. The numbers are improving. Over the past 24 hours, 782 new coronavirus cases and 12 deaths. But the pandemic is not over.
Do you think we'll reach a point this summer where everything will be open and people can just kind of decide the risk, decide whether or not they want to take part in normal society again?
Look, I want to make sure that we keep businesses open and running and that we attract tourists to the state and so on. But remember, every time people have pushed for this sort of thing, we've had another surge.
More than 100,000 doses of the vaccine are now being administered every day. Last week, confusion at one site, the United Center. The governor promised the UC would help get more shots into the arms of people of color, but it turned out a large number of white suburban residents signed up. The federal government paused the reservations in order to prioritize Chicagoans and Cook County residents. For days, Pritzker has tried to explain the mix-up.
We wanted to make sure that we were including everybody that would be eligible under 1B+. You know, FEMA came in with their view of how this should be organized, and we went along with that.
The United Center issue, just another reminder of how difficult managing the COVID emergency has been. Pritzker hopes that before May, there'll be enough vaccine for every Illinois adult. Lourdes and Ray.
Okay.
Thank you, Taman. Meantime, the